If one day your dog suddenly starts barking or howling like crazy for no apparent reason, the cat gets scared and hides in a corner, and every pigeon sitting on the roof suddenly flutters away at the same time, stop for a moment. Don't ignore them, because they might actually be trying to save your life. Maybe these animals can sense a danger you still can't see, a threat of an earthquake quietly building beneath the ground. So the question is, how do these animals know before we do? Let's uncover the fascinating secret behind nature's earthquake warning system. First, understand that detecting an earthquake early isn't magic. It's the result of animals' incredibly sharp senses. When an earthquake begins, two types of waves travel through the ground. The first is a fast-moving but weak wave called the P wave. Humans usually can't feel it. Behind it comes the slower but far more destructive S wave. This is the wave that causes buildings to collapse. Animals can detect that first weak wave a few seconds earlier. It's just like someone placing their ear on a railroad track and hearing an approaching train before it reaches the platform. It's also believed that before an earthquake, the crushing and grinding of rocks underground releases radon gas and certain chemicals to the surface. It also creates extremely low-frequency sound waves in the air called infrasound. These sounds are so low that human ears can't hear them because their frequency is below 20 Hz. Now let's look at each animal's amazing abilities and how their behavior changes. First, dogs and cats. Just a few seconds before an earthquake, dogs may start barking uncontrollably, whining, and pacing around in obvious distress for no reason. Interestingly, smaller dogs tend to panic even more. Cats, on the other hand, suddenly become extremely alert, hide somewhere, or panic and bolt out of the house. Snakes, meanwhile, keep their entire bodies pressed against the ground, allowing them to detect even the slightest vibration. Even more surprising, in the middle of freezing winter, when snakes should be deep in hibernation, they sometimes suddenly crawl out of their burrows, as if some invisible danger has driven them outside. Then there are elephants, which you could call living earthquake detectors. Their massive feet have incredibly sensitive pads, and their trunks are highly sensitive too, allowing them to detect even the faintest infrasound waves traveling through the ground, waves we can never hear. As soon as they sense them, they become restless, gather into herds, and move toward higher or safer ground. Before the devastating 2004 tsunami, elephants were seen doing exactly this in several places. The same thing happens underwater. Fish become restless and start leaping or swimming to the surface as soon as they sense even a slight change in water pressure. Frogs and toads go even further. They abandon their breeding ponds and flee. This happened a few days before the L'Aquila earthquake in Italy, and amazingly, that pond was 74 kilometers away from the earthquake's epicenter. Finally, here's an important truth about these animals. The world's leading scientific organization, the USGS, says it's true that animals can sense earthquakes a few seconds before they happen, but there's still no reliable scientific evidence that they can accurately predict them days or weeks in advance. In other words, these animals are remarkable warning signs from nature, but they're not fortune tellers.